All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft, and I am back for the third and final game of this set. And this is once again Liquid Taeja versus Innovation. Taeja is going to be the blue Terran in the bottom left-hand corner, and Innovation is going to be the red Terran in the bottom right-hand corner. And so far, the set has been kind of mild, a little moderate, I guess. Hasn't been, you know, what I was hoping for, but I'm told this third game, the final game, is going to be pretty sick. So strap yourselves in here for game 3, the final game. The series is tied up 1-1. What is this SCV doing? Okay, it's on patrol. Thought it was just losing its mind there for a second. But it is going to produce a barracks and be useful to the Terran here, to the Terran economy. And yeah, both players going for barracks here at the front door. Now, the map, Newkirk Precinct, big map. This is one of those maps where you can see, I've seen a lot of sick late games here, because the natural progression of the map as you expand, you kind of expand upwards and not really towards your opponent. Although the pocket expansion, I guess you could argue either way. And because of that, because there's just so many expansions up here and up here, a lot of times you could see some pretty late games where the players have every single base on the map, and it just becomes an all-out battle for dominance. So I'm kind of hoping here that we get to see one of those sick late game Terran versus Terrans with nuclear missiles and every single unit being used. Those are always so much fun to watch. And it looks like Innovation here is going to be going for an early Reaper being produced right now at the barracks. And has that rally set all the way to the enemy side front door. We do actually have the Reaper now being retargeted onto that SCV, now being sent back to the left. And Taeja kind of baiting, I guess, the front door a little bit. And now he's just going to pull out, I guess. So he says, all right, I'm over it. Don't want to lose this SCV, not worth it. And now the supply depots are going to be lowered down. So the Reaper now is on the way, obviously. Now, Taeja needs to make sure he doesn't lose that initial space construction vehicle. That's what they're called. Make sure he doesn't lose that guy that's constructing the command center. In fact, this time I think he's going to build it inside the main base, which makes it a little bit safer, obviously, and I like that decision. So now this Reaper is going to have a long day because I don't think he's going to be able to get up the natural ramp. And those 3 Marines making sure that that doesn't happen. So really nice job there. And no scouting possibility here for that Reaper. Now, the thing about this map is you cannot hop this Reaper up into the main base. You actually need to step up from the natural into the main. So for that reason, I don't really like opening up Reapers on this map. And I know I'm not trying to bash Innovation's build or anything, but he's actually producing a second Reaper here. And I guess he really wants to get into the main base, so he is going to go for it, hopping up into the natural now. And now he's just got to try to get into the main, trying to snipe out a Marine or 2 here as well, but has to be careful because there's more firepower for Taeja than there is for Innovation. And now Innovation is going to get into the main base. I don't think he's going to be able to get that SCV. And you can see here that both players are just doing every little bit possible to get an edge here in this game. You can see now that those Reapers were able to take a glance at the building construction here at the front. And now Innovation knows what he needs to know, and that is that there is going to be a delayed 1 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport opening here. Pretty much the standard in TvT. Get a command center down and then go barracks, factory, starport. And you can see that, in fact, basically the same opening here for Innovation. And the reason why this is such a standard opening is because from here you can do almost anything you want. You can add on more barracks and go heavy bio, or you can add on more factories and go heavy mech. You can even go early Banshee if you want. And, you know, that's exactly what Innovation's going to go for. So he is going to go for a quick Banshee here. And meanwhile, it looks like a Reaper was able to somehow make its way back behind the main base. 1 Reaper is back there. 2nd Reaper decided to stay behind, so his buddy is going to die. But by doing so, that allows this Reaper to get another glance at the front. And you can see both players are going to go for Banshee here. Unless I'm mistaken. I must have read that wrong. I must have saw the Banshee coming out of the blue, and I assumed that was for Innovation. My apologies, guys. So, Taeja is going to go for a Banshee here, and I think Innovation sees the tech lab, and he sees it researching too. He sees the green stuff going on there, and there's really only 1 research that you get there, and that is, of course, the Banshee, the cloaking field upgrade. Unless you want to fake them out by getting the fake Caduceus reactor. back before the Caduceus reactor was, before it was nerfed to hell. And so yeah, it is going to be a Cloak Banshee on the way, and I think that Innovation's going to be okay. He's going to be prepared for this because he produced a Viking, and he should have saved up energy for a Comsat. Yeah, he's got 57 energy here on this command center, and actually just spent it. Okay, so there. All right, well, he's going to have to be careful here and hope that he will have some type of detection ready to go for these Banshees, because Cloak is, of course, researched unless it was canceled, and yes, it was canceled. So I'm a little bit behind here on the casting. So Taeja ended up canceling the Cloak upgrade once he realized that the tech lab was sniffed out. And so this Banshee no longer has the Cloak research, but it is going to be able to hide on top of these buildings, which is the next best thing. And it's actually a pretty good point for the Banshee to stay at, because it gives the Terran great vision and allows him to just kind of have that early advanced scouting report against Innovation's forces. But now Innovation has pushed out and has pushed that Banshee away. And a couple of Widow Mines now underground, a large army of Hellions now pushing out for Innovation. And you can see once again it is going to be mech versus bio here, as Innovation has added on additional factories and Taeja has added on additional barracks. And yeah, I'm gonna be really thrilled to see how this plays out once again on an even footing, and hopefully this doesn't end real quickly again like Game 1 and Game 2 did, and we see a nice drawn out Terran versus Terran battle here. Blue Flame upgrade on the way here from the factory back at home. Hellions now making their way over to the front door. SCV gets completely destroyed. And look at this. This time Taeja has the proper defense set up. He's actually walled this off Terran style, TvT style, to deal with anti-Hellions basically. And has the bunker up, has the siege tank, really nice defense. Not going to lose the same way that he lost Game 1. And now brings the command center over to land at the pocket expansion. Both players are actually expanding at basically the same time. So the game right now is very, very close. The difference mainly being that the red Terran player is going mech and the blue Terran player is going bio. And that Comsat is going to confirm that for Taeja. So and what do you do here? Because I feel like in the late game, mech does dominate bio. You might not have the mobility that biological does, but in a straight up battle, the AoE from your mech forces typically is going to completely obliterate mass Marine Marauder siege tanks. So I think Taeja's gonna have to utilize his mobility to his advantage. He's gonna have to drop a lot. And speaking about that, it looks like Innovation here maybe planning to do something frisky, as he's got a Raven Viking army moving around the backside here. I think he's gonna drop some auto turrets down. No, he's gonna Seeker missile the mineral line, and great pull out right there from Taeja, saving that that poor guy's his friends from certain death. And you can see the Blue Flame Hellions running in here once again, trying to get a couple of SCV kills. 4 SCVs have gone down already, nothing too serious. In the meantime, Taeja actually moving around the right-hand side of the map. Looked like he was going to go for a drop or something, but now deciding to pull back to help defend his army or his main base. And in the meantime, there are also 4 Hellions up here at the top left-hand side that were not used yet in this game. Really, really great game here that it's going to start to build up here. I think 12 minutes in, you can see that both players are on 3 bases, and we have the makings of a great one here, as no player has taken preliminary damage. Both of them are setting up for a sick late game, and oh, you gotta be careful, Taeja. You could take some damage there from that mine. Now, granted, the mine isn't really enough to destroy, you know, a whole army, but ooh, great Comsat right there. Actually ends up revealing that Marine, but he loses something there. I'm not sure what he lost, but he did lose a unit to the mine's explosion, I think. No, that was just the debris from the mine. I apologize. So, Taeja here. Taeja doing pretty well for himself, I gotta say. And it looks like we do have a Widow Mine, excuse me, a medevac coming around the back left-hand side here. Has a couple of Hellbats inside. Hellions here coming to the front door, but they are going to be warded away by these armies. Double sensor tower on the map as well, making a bit of a Venn diagram if they were able to link up. And you can see that that Hellbat gets out. One Hellbat gets out, but immediately is taken down by Marines. There's even a bunker back here for extra safety as well. So good luck dropping Blue Flame Hellbats into that. Great play by Taeja. He even stemmed up his Marines by jumping them out and then hopping them back in. So good play. And oh, look at this, Taeja using the mineral lines for his own defensive purposes, not allowing those Hellions to basically wrap around his Marauders. And in fact, I don't even think Innovation had a chance to get away because of concussive shells, so he just kind of left them there to die. So Taeja here starting to build up a little bit of momentum, I feel like. You can see once again Innovation trying to go for these little side attacks, trying to go around the backside. He's also got Hellions coming around the bottom here, but Taeja's army is bigger. He's at 194 supply, over 175 upgrades right now, +1 vehicle weapons, and Blue Flame only for Innovation. He's really behind in upgrades. The bio is far superior for Taeja. He's got +2/+2, and he's even got +1 weapons of his own for vehicle. So I'm not sure why Innovation is falling behind in upgrades so heavily. He needs to get more upgrades going. It looks like he's rounding out right now, but he's going to be dealing with 3/3 infantry pretty soon here. And Taeja is pushing out, and we're about to see just how good Mech is against Bio, because you know that Innovation's got an upgrade disadvantage here. He's going to have to defend this. Will he be able to do it? It looks like he's got Siege Chains and Blue Flame Hellions are going to be able to unleash the hell. And will he have enough AoE firepower? Looks like he does. And once again, Taeja basically pushed back a little bit here, and you can see the superiority here for Innovation, allowing Innovation to get that additional plus range against the enemy siege tanks and forcing Taeja to pull back. And so there you have it. Even with an upgrade disadvantage, you know, Blue Flame Hellbats and siege tanks are just so raw against Taeja's army, and I don't really know what Taeja's gonna be able to do about this. He's forced to pull back. He lost a big chunk of his army there, and just like that, this game is right back in the hands of Innovation, I feel like. Although Taeja does have map control, once again, remember, he does have a little bit more ability with Bio, but I don't think he's going to be able to attack into this corridor here. Way too many siege tanks set up, but he's going to try at the very least to take out this Orbital Command. Orbital Command does lift off, though. It is on fire, but it is going to be able to get back over the safety of these tanks and Hellbats, and all it takes is one SCV to repair it back up to full. Comsats being dropped out like crazy, of course. You know, vision and information is so important in StarCraft, and doubly so in Terran versus Terran. You gotta know where your opponents are, and you gotta get that extra range for your tanks. Couple of medevacs now making their way over to the top side. Blue Flame Hellbats are loaded up. There is a planetary fortress here, so I don't think this I mean, these SCVs could still go down really quickly. It all depends on how those Hellbats drop out, how grouped up they are against the Bix cannon from the planetary fortress. More Comsats getting dropped down. Both players are ready to go to war here, and you can see there's just so many forces on the map. Both armies are maxed out now, beginning to bank surplus, but here comes those 4 Hellbats gonna drop down. Will the PF be able to save these SCVs? Great evacuation of the SCVs, saving what Taeja could, and the PF and missile turret going to work, warding away the enemy forces, and those SCVs quickly repairing that missile turret back up to full, and those Hellbats now dropping over here, trying to delay starport production. In fact, that was a great scout by Innovation, because now he knows that Taeja is planning to go into late game Sky Terran here. That's really the only reason why you would go for double starport at this stage of the game. Those Hellbats get dropped off once again, actually doing a decent chunk of damage there, killing off about 13 SCVs. And you can see, even though you've got a PF and a missile turret here, it is not a solid defense against dropping double Hellbats. And here comes the army from Taeja moving in, taking out a decent chunk of the enemy Terran. But once again, it's an entrenched line here. The further in you push, the more damage you're bound to take, because there are more and more siege tanks back there. There is a PF being, no, that is not a PF, that is an orbital command. Just a ton of command centers back here. So really, the deeper in you push, I think the more dangerous waters you get into. We can see +3 vehicle weapons on the way, as well as +2 armor. And here comes Taeja once again pushing through. Don't know if this is the best decision for Taeja, though. There's just so many siege tanks back there. And once again, he doesn't have air supremacy, so he's forced to use Comsats here to gain vision. Every time he drops a Comsat, that is 270 minerals that he does not have in his bank. Both players just dropping Comsats like mad, and look at this. It looks like Innovation might be going for the Brood War drop style. He's loaded up a large army into those medevacs. He could drop Hellbats over the enemy siege tanks here. He has air supremacy, so why not? It looks like he might just go for it. And will he do it or not? He's still hiding his tanks behind this building here, because he actually, in fact, has less tanks, I think, than Taeja does. No, he's got 2 more tanks, 4 more tanks than Taeja does. And it looks like he's pushing in with the Vikings on trying to clear out enemy Vikings. And he's got a lot of Hellbats loaded up here, 10 Hellbats in total. If those Hellbats make their way into the enemy tank lines here, say goodnight to the bad guy. Taeja is going to lose almost all of his forces. He's still trying to pressure this front door though. And here we go, Innovation coming around the top of the structure, trying to get a little bit more surface area over his opponent. Comsats going down left and right. Orbital Command continuing to take damage at the pocket expansion, but really Innovation can afford to lose this. He's got like orbitals for days back here, so it doesn't really matter. More reinforcements coming, streaming into the top side for Taeja, thinking about taking out this expansion up here at the north. That will have to lift off, and here comes Innovation coming in with his Hellbats, looking to drop Hellbats over the enemy army, but he never actually got his drops off. Must have miscontrolled his Hellbats. He's got 5 medevacs here loaded up with Hellbats, but he does not unleash the cargo, but at the same time he loses his command center at the top side. So Taeja, even though he lost the battle, he does win the economic war, I guess, because he kills off command center. But then again, too many command centers back at home, lots of replacements ready to go for Innovation, and Innovation does go for the drop here, dropping off those infernal Hellbats with +3 weapons and pre-igniter, just doing an insane amount of damage to the Marines on the ground, and everything just getting completely toasted. It is absolute hell down here, and I think Taeja, he definitely got the worst of that. You can see he's at 131 supply right now. He's lost about 3,000 more in resources than Innovation has. This game is shaping up to be pretty damn epic. Taeja's gonna have to get the ball rolling a little bit now though. I really feel like maybe going into these starports and starting to get late game, you know, Sky Terran wouldn't be a bad idea, although I guess he's just using them for Ravens and medevacs. I mean, I feel like against mass mech, against tank, you know, Hellbat, you know, getting out a ton of Banshees is never a bad idea. Battle cruisers are, you know, Battlecruiser Viking Raven is also very good as well. So I don't know, we'll see if he'll be able to make a transition or not, or if he even wants to, because now there are Widow Mines on the ground. I mean, this mech army is just getting stronger and stronger as it goes on. 3-2 is the current upgrades. We have basically all the vehicle upgrades you want to get, Drilling Claws and Infernal Pre-Igniter as well. And it's basically, you know, Biomech versus mech, and who is going to have the upper hand here? Taeja is catching up in supplies, almost maxed out once again, but not quite. Lot of sensor towers on the ground, 4 in total. Here comes a couple of Seeker missiles here coming out. It is against the enemy Vikings. It does detonate. Great Seeker missile there for Taeja, actually whittling down these medevacs considerably, but you can see that they are not dead, and 5 of them are loaded up with Hellbats. And you can see here that, you know, Taeja's Innovation's just using this to drop Hellbats behind enemy lines. He once again gets Hellbats in, and not only does the Hellbats do damage against the bio, but it also inflicts friendly fire from the siege tanks onto the enemy bio down below, and Hellbats can take a beating from tanks, whereas Marines and Marauders really can't. And it looks like Taeja returning the favor, dropping off forces of his own. He obliterates all the tanks in the middle of the map. Taeja using the mobility of bio to his advantage there, dropping them off, and it just comsat galore here. Taeja is going to be able to push through, forcing a cancel on one of the expansions. What a sick game this is, and he is now going to start to apply a little bit of pressure on this expansion. Sensor tower is burning. It is probably going to go down. There it goes, and here comes Taeja dropping off additional forces, unloading everything he's got, and trying to drop and get the backside of these siege tanks, and he is going to be able to kill them all. Very nice job by Taeja, getting the upper hand here. Now he's got an opening into the fresh mining expansion of Innovation, and if he can take out all these meals and SCVs, that would be great for him. It looks like they might be able to get out of harm's way. No, in fact, Innovation is going to be forced to fight with them, it looks like, because he doesn't want to give up any additional ground here to the enemy Terran player. He's already lost his expansion. Gonna keep these SCVs and meals here on auto repair, on repair, it looks like, although they are not on auto repair right now. They are there for repair duty. And in fact, a Thor has been brought out. A Thor has been brought out. This is why I love TvT. You see almost every unit being used. So the 3-3 Thor is on the field here. Certainly helps to have a nice variety of units on the map. One medevac making its way over to the top side, looking to do a little bit of Hellbat damage into the mineral line. And here it comes Innovation leading the way with his Hellbats and Hellions, trying to push through. Thor taking a beating here, but it's absorbing the damage for the rest of the forces, although most of the tanks are out of the firing range, and it looks like that Thor is going to get taken out. More forces getting dropped off here, and Innovation, will he have enough reinforcements to hold on to this pocket expansion? It looks like he will, just barely. In the meantime, Hellbats dropping off from that medevac I noted earlier, but it is quickly forced away by reinforcements coming out of Taeja's barracks. So very nice job by Taeja right there to defend, although it looks like this expansion up here isn't going to get the same treatment, and more SCVs are going to go down. In the meantime, drop going off into the main base as Taeja continues to try to get the upper hand, dropping off all over the place and utilizing his bio to his best advantage. That mobility, that stim, the ability to run away, get in quickly in and out, and using medevacs to help them as well. Very nice job. It looks like these two Hellbats are not killing off the SCs, they're just trying to burn down the command center. Meanwhile, Taeja going for yet another drop. Man, both of these players have taken a beating. They've lost a ton of SCVs and mules, but both of them still have about 60 workers apiece, so they're still in the game, obviously. Although I will say that Innovation's position not looking too fantastic here, because he's only on 4 bases, whereas Taeja is on 6 bases. So Taeja's got a great advantage here in terms of how many bases he has on the map. And that is obviously going to play pretty well here for Taeja going into the late game. He's already got the supply advantage. Looks like Taeja is pushing into the middle here with a very large army. He is maxed out nearly. Looks like he's loading up his medevacs and is going to go for another drop here. Meanwhile, double medevac coming over to the north, so both players are basically thinking about the same thing. Although these medevacs are going to run into some missile turrets. They are going to unload their cargo into the enemy factory lines, but there are siege tanks all over the place. Going to have to clear out these siege tanks first and foremost. Looks like he's going to be able to do just that. Has the high ground here. Going to be able to take out some reinforcements coming out, but there are too many reinforcements coming out of the barracks, and that drop did not do too much damage here. In the meantime, it looks like this drop might have been deflected here, as Taeja had forces in position as well. Another drop going off for Taeja as he looks to take out the refinery here and limit the gas of Innovation. And both players just continuing to try to outmaneuver one another, drop one another. What a sick TvT this is. Taeja, though, does have a pretty large bank, and one reason for that, obviously, is because he has 3 more bases. Or at least he did have 3 more bases. He doesn't anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases for Innovation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases for Taeja. So bases are even now. And if Innovation can get a little bit of mining going, and if he can get a little bit more good luck on his side, then he should be able to match up against Taeja once again supply-wise. He is going to drop more Hellbats into this SCV line. And this is what Starcraft is all about. You know, harass your opponent's economy. Every time you harass, it adds up. It means less army you have to deal with. When the battles happen, it means less technology you have to deal with, although technology is kind of out of the picture now because both players should have max tech. Look at this Hellbat, man. Holy moly. The medevac healing it up, keeping it alive for a very long time. And here comes Taeja attacking through the middle of the map with everything he's got. And this is the problem when you're going mech, I suppose, against bios. You don't have, you know, the ability to just run up there and soak up damage with Hellbats. You have to use medevacs. You have to drop them off like this, which is also very effective. But when there are this many Marauders, you can see how Taeja has gone Marauder heavy now. That is the one thing you can do as bio. When you're facing mass mech, if you go heavy Marauder, then the Hellbats are no longer effective, and all you've got to worry about is those siege tanks. So love the kind of slight adaptation here to Taeja. He doesn't really have that many Marines into his army anymore. Mostly Marauder tank now. And that bodes very well against the Hellbats of Innovation. Innovation also forced to leave mining operations here at this expansion. One less base that he is not mining at. And it's a game all about starving out your opponent. If you can keep one expansion from not mining, that adds up over time. And looks like one medevac over here at the top side looking to reinforce his brother over here, although a bunker and a missile turret combination is coming up, going to make it very hard for Hellbats to do any damage. And here comes Taeja once again with his Marauders and his tanks pushing in here with everything he's got. It looks like he's going to be able to get the upper hand. These tanks are exposed. If Taeja stims everything up, he could run in here and take out the tanks. Does he have enough bio to do so? It's going to be pretty close. He's going to take out a ton of siege tanks, loading up the rest and dropping them over the remaining ones on the high ground. Beautiful job by Taeja right there. And Innovation is going to lose most of his siege tanks here. pretty nasty for the red Terran player, although he is dropping off Hellbats into the mineral line, so he's doing some damage all throughout, reinforcing once again, both players continuing to play this game where they're basically spending all their money, sick macro from both sides, as they continue to spend and keep their armies producing, because if you for a second forget to keep up with your macro and you don't have a wave of reinforcements coming, that could just very well be GG for you. So very, very close game between both of these players, and actually Innovation has taken the supply lead now, as he was able to wipe out the remainder of Taeja's army, and now pushing into the middle of the map and starting to fortify it as well. One thing you do see sometimes in late game TvT, if the game allows it, is you might even see some planetary fortresses being thrown up into the middle of the map as well, really bolstering your defenses. Although it looks like Taeja here is just gonna go for an attack into this expansion. No, he's not going to be able to accomplish that. Just way too many forces here. And the funny thing is neither player really has any Vikings, so the medevac drops continue to do some sick damage. And this is, like I said, old school Terran versus Terran Brood War style. Medevac dropping the hell out of your opponents. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. It looks like some medevacs flying over to these siege tanks. Once again, Taeja gonna drop them off. The only thing to defend against these medevacs are the missile turrets, but they're not even operational yet, or at least the majority of them are not. Taeja's gonna get the upper hand here, and he will take out all of those Hellbats before they could get in melee range. Command Center Ninja as well from Taeja. Taeja's starting to build a lot of momentum for himself, although he does not have the middle of the map under his control. There are too many tanks, too many forces in the middle. He will not be able to punch through there, but at the very least, he gets mining operations here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him just mule like crazy right now, trying to steal, sap as many minerals as possible from his opponent. It looks like in the meantime, look at this, one lone medevac saving the remainder of the forces. It looks like he's gonna drop off what he can to do some damage, and here comes Taeja pushing through the middle. Says, I don't care about your defenses, I've got more than enough forces. And it looks like he's going to be able to punch into the pocket expansion. In the meantime, Hellbat's coming to burn up this expansion and take up the real estate. But those forces are going to come up here and make sure that command center continues to stay operational, preventing that expansion from landing down. What a game this is, and here comes the flood of meals as Taeja looks to steal what he can. Don't like where Innovation's position is, but he does come around both sides, dropping into those siege tanks. Does he have enough Hellbats here to take out the enemy Terran army? Hellbats are so incredibly buff, especially after getting dropped off and being healed by the medevacs above, which is that is the situation we just saw. Both armies dropping here, and it looks like Innovation's going to be able to stay alive, and he kills off the command center that was stealing his resources. So a very nice defend right there from Innovation. I actually thought he was done for, but he somehow managed to pull it together and retake that expansion. Very good job, and he needed that in order to stay in the game. Now going for a little bit of harass of his own with these Hellbats, trying to drop them off. It looks like he's going to go for the pocket expansion here. All the bases on the map nearly have been taken on in this game, except for this pocket expansion and this one, although this one has pretty much been mined out. You can see that Taeja is going to push into the bottom here once again with his bio forces. The mech slow to recover, slow to get back in position, and because of that, once again, Innovation takes the high ground and he takes this expansion out. Very nice job. Great job by Innovation. Excuse me, by Taeja. And Innovation here forced to defend what he can, bringing his forces back. One thing that that Innovation is relying pretty heavily on here, because he doesn't have the mobility of the enemy Terran player, is his medevacs. And you can see he's only got 5 medevacs right now. That is basically his, his transport for his mech, for his Hellbats. If he needs to get somewhere in a jiffy, if he needs to drop in behind enemy lines, he needs to keep his medevacs alive. That is actually one of the most important facets in a late game mech TvT, is you must have medevacs to drop and support your bases and to attack with. So needs to make sure his medevac count does not fall here. And in fact, it looks like this command center is under attack, getting surrounded by a bunch of bio. Does get lifted off, and it looks like these tanks are going to be brought back in. Innovation with another pretty good defend here. He keeps his expansion alive, and those medevacs coming in and evacuating those forces in the nick of time. Going to drop them back over into this expansion. 50 workers apiece have gone down this game already. Looking at the resource loss, 60,000 per side. Are you kidding me? And just gonna look at some of these other tabs here. EPM 180, 156, really nasty, sick game here. Let's look at actual APM here just to get an idea of how many buttons these guys are pressing. 250 per on average. So really good game here between both these players. These medevacs are continuing to go back and forth between this structure right here, and because Innovation doesn't have any Vikings, Taeja can continue to abuse the mineral lines with this continual harassment. Looks like he's dropping down here in the bottom side as well. A lot of little skirmishes going on. Hellbats continue to do damage. Medevacs once again fleeing over to the top side. Down in the bottom right, looks like this expansion has lifted off. Forces have been brought. A lot of Hellbats have been brought back in. Roasty toasty go the Marines. This expansion actually saved, I guess. I don't know how, because that building was about to go down. Medevacs continuing to go back and forth, but there is a PF there now, so I don't think Taeja is going to be able to continue to play that game, and going to be forced to pull back. But he has pulled ahead in supply in a major way. 188 supply to 150, now ahead by about 40 supply. So really nice job by Taeja, really advancing forward in this game. And this expansion right here, never before taken on this map, fresh virgin minerals and gas here for Taeja, is really going to help propel him forward in this game. Whereas basically Innovation is operating on fumes here. He doesn't have any bases left to make money off of. Seeker missile coming down here. Taeja launching double Seeker, softening up the Terran mech. And now it looks like he's got the high ground, pushing away this expansion once again. What the hell is Innovation going to do? He's brought in a squad of SCVs to repair his mech and bring it back up to full HP. Does have some siege tanks and Hellbats in position to defend this pocket expansion, although there's really no minerals or gas here, so there's no reason to really defend it. And then let's look at the income here. You can see that Innovation is still staying on par because he's got this base at the top side. But the thing is, remember that some of these minerals were pre-harvested by Taeja, so I think Innovation is going to run out of money before Taeja will. Here comes a big battle. Looks like forces are being loaded up into these medevacs. Going to drop those Hellbats right in the melee range into the Marines and Marauders. Will Innovation have enough here to clean up the ground? It looks like all that remains are the siege tanks, and I think Taeja getting the better of that engagement once again. Yes, he did, and you can see he's ahead by about 30 or so supply. Innovation is really starting to wear thin here, guys, and I mean, I just gotta say, what an incredible TvT this has been. Look at this. Somehow Taeja knew that the enemy was going to attack in this location. Doesn't even have any SCVs here. I don't know where they are, but they are on the way over. Those Hellbats can get a great attack here on those SCVs, but he does not get the opportunity to do so. Innovation was not paying attention, I guess, to concerned about this army pushing into the middle here. And that lone Banshee, now Taeja punishing Innovation for not having any anti-air. That Banshee is going to be bothering him till the end of days until he can get some type of anti-air out on the field. It looks like those Hellbats were cleaned up. Expansion here has been pushed away. One less expansion that Innovation can be mining out of, and finally a couple of Vikings being produced to counter the Banshee. So that will push away the lone air threat. And it looks like, here we go, a lot of tanks coming out for Taeja on the north side, and Innovation cleans up the army on the bottom, but he's got to drop his medevacs onto these siege tanks. Will he have enough forces to do so? Seeker missile landing down as well, and those Hellbats are gonna hit right home. Nothing Taeja can do about that. All the tanks going down, and Innovation with the defense of a lifetime. Oh my God, this game is so sick. 46 minutes now. Units lost, 70,000 resources per side. I mean, come on. This is one of the greatest Terran versus Terrans of all time. The only thing we're lacking now is a nuclear missile, I guess. And Taeja here pushing through. It looks like he is going to be going into this expansion here. Not really an expansion that's mining. At the same time, Innovation thinking about making an attack. He pushed forward with his tanks, so very bad idea. Going to lose all of his siege tanks, but he has a lot of Hellbats on the ground, and these Hellbats are just demolishing everything underneath. Taeja has no response for these Hellbats. Does he have even enough money to stay in and produce Marauders to counter the Hellbats? I don't know. This bunker has to stay alive, but even a bunker is going to go down to that much firepower. And finally, Taeja bringing back the bio he's got to save his base. And it looks like he's got to be careful here, man. There's a lot of Hellbats down there. And it's Medevac, Marauder versus Medevac Hellbat. Not something you see every day. But I think Taeja is going to be able to defend here just barely because he's near his reinforcements. He's near his buildings. Dropping down 1 million meals as well. It's really going to replenish his economy. And wow, Great play by Taeja. What a defend. I thought he might have been in a lot of trouble there, but he was able to muster up a solid defense and now dropping down 1,000,000 meals. You'll see his income now skyrocket. 3,500 minerals per minute right now, or at least it was for a second right there. In the meantime, like I said before, Innovation running out of money, and this is the problem I thought Innovation would be faced with. He, you know, these minerals are pre-harvested, and he is going to run out of money before Taeja will. That is a big problem here for Innovation, and I'm not sure how he's going to deal with it. He needs to prevent this base from being mined right now. These mules are giving him 4,500 minerals a minute. That's like 1,000,000 marines, and like Taeja's gonna max out in a minute if Innovation doesn't do something about it. And look at this, he's gonna lose his planetary fortress, but he does attack into this location. Will Innovation be able to take out this expansion? He's got to take out all these mules, but they all expire anyway, so they did their job basically, and that is not good for Innovation. He does come in here and roast all the remaining workers up, but the damage was done. The economic damage was done. The reverse damage, if you will, because Taeja now has jumped ahead in its supply, sprung ahead by about 40 or so, and obviously that is not good for the red Terran player, although he does have a lot of Hellbats, I will say that. A ton of Hellbats. Uh-oh, a Banshee has come in here. No anti-air here for the red Terran player, and he's going to try to retreat back home. Oh no, these medevacs are in trouble, so he's got to get these medevacs to unload their cargo. What is he doing? Innovation's got to get those Hellbats down, but it looks like his own drop was blocked off by the forces on the ground. Not a situation you see every day. His own forces basically making it impossible for him to save his army out of the medevacs, and this Banshee gonna go to work, but Widow Mines get underground, and they will detonate over that Banshee. That's one way to get some anti-air out on the field. And here we go. It looks like Innovation, you know, he hasn't given up yet. He is down by about 60 supply, but you know, it's still, I think, anyone's game to take. The only problem is Taeja's continuing to mine minerals out of that bottom corner side expansion, but Innovation is also making a small earning here. It's like barely minimum wage down at that corner expansion. Here we go. This could be the final battle. A lot of forces getting chopped off behind these Hellbats, and I don't think Innovation is going to have enough. GG calls Innovation, so Taeja wins the game. Wow, that was the sickest. What a great Terran versus Terran that was. I hope you guys enjoyed. I've got one more epic set from WCS Season 2 I'll be casting in the next few days. I hope you guys stay tuned for that one. Gonna be amazing. And for now, make sure to subscribe at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at HD Starcraft. I'll see you guys in the next cast, and this is HD signing out.